That's right, a reserve list market update. What craziness is going on? We're going to find out together, and it's coming up next. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you're somehow finding me out there on YouTube, well, thanks a lot for taking the time to check out my content today. Really hope you guys enjoy it. Of course, we upload 7 days a week. Looking forward to seeing everyone there. And always leave comments in the comment section below because I love answering back to people and seeing what you guys think. So today, we have a market update video. And a lot of reserve list cards continue to have a great showing out there in the sales market, okay? These cards, some are a little bit underrated today. I'm going to tell you why. And a few of them, of course, are being slow but stable. And a few are having really strong sales. So let's get into it, shall we? Now, number one, okay, we are talking Granite Gargoyle. Granite Gargoyle is a card, we all used it back in the day. 3 casting cost, 2/2 flyer that you could pump up the defense. Guys, it was a great card. Used exclusively in red decks all the time. But a lot of people used it in the 5-color multi-decks we used to play with because, Taiaga, Badlands, lots of ways of getting that red in there, Volcanic Islands. But you could also pump up. You could stop that Sarah Angel. You could stop those big baddies. Just like a Will-O-the-Wisp did the same thing, except for the Granite Gargoyle had bite. He could come back and punch back at you. Now, when you're looking at reserve list copies, okay, which is revised, unlimited, alpha, beta. So they stopped at revised and printing this card. He's a flyer. He's got good skills, man. The artwork is awesome, done by Christopher Rush. But when we look at this card, $13 Canadian is the average price. You got $8 in the EU, and then we got around $6.50 in the US, and the sales are strong. When I noted this out about 7 days ago, I've noticed 2 particular buyers are buying multiple copies, and then there's a few smatterings of people I don't know picking up other stuff. So I'm looking at it saying, okay, I jumped in and looked at the unlimited copies. Now, Unlimited's around $80-$90, but get this, there are some BGS like 9.5s that are only around $400-$500 for Unlimited. That is not bad for that high grade of a slab copy. Underrated card that people are going to kind of forget about. It's something you may want to keep your eye on. And if you just want a couple of reserve list cards like that, but you want to get revised copies, look for the light played near mints. They're going to cost you $12-$15, but it's something to pick up and get out of the way, especially if you're going to be a set collector later on. Way to go, Granite Gargoyle. You are underrated, but your sales are strong, so you're appreciated. Now, next one, Shazam Dejin. Now, back when I played all the time, every day, every weekend at our card shop, this was the guy to fear. I know he doesn't look it now. 4 for 5/5 vanilla who does 1 damage to you. I get it. But back in the day, guys, this guy was a showstopper. You better have an answer for him right away because he hits you for 5. And he costs 4 to get out. Which was, Sarah Angel was 4/4 for 5. Right? She was considered like the big bad boy. If you wanted the ninja of ninjas, you were going up for a Shivan Dragon. When this guy hit the scene, everyone was blown away. Because you could pop him out with a Dark Ritual and a Mox. Like, you could get this guy out turn 1, no problem. And you got 4 in your deck. He was brutal. Now, as an Arabian Nights card, of course, he is very old. Now, the sales are slow on this card. You're talking 1 or 2 sales every week or 2. But you notice I'm saying there's still a sale? So people still exchange this card and still buy this card looking for better copies, even beat up copies for collections. And you're looking at around $2,400 Canadian. We're talking around that $2,000 mark in the USA and $1,650 in the EU. But the sales are slow, guys. But he is the show-stopping card from back in the day. That's why he's so nostalgic and has been the face of Magic for years. When you see that card, you know that card. You know that artwork, that picture. Keep it in mind. He is... Look at him. Pick up that little guy. Just picture how big that genie is, man. That's a very big Dejin. Way to go, buddy. Awesome. Now, our next one, Raging River. Some people asked about this card. I said we'd get the stats together. It took a little longer than I expected, and I apologize. The sales are actually very strong in this card. So I'm assuming the people asked me to look into this card are probably buying more copies than they let on. But I'm looking at it saying, okay, $220 Canadian for an unlimited copy. This card only was an alpha, beta, unlimited. $87 in the EU and $140 in the US. But the sales are very strong. Okay, we're talking multiple sales a day across multiple platforms. Very nice card. We used to use it because you had to pick a side, right? There's a lot of text on there, but basically said the river had two sides, and when you declare an attack, your opponent has to decide which side of the river his units are on. His flyers can block anything, but the ground guys have to go on one side or the other, and then you deciding your attackers, and you can put them on either side of the river. It was a lot of fun. It took a little longer to make the mechanics work for you sometimes, but it was a great card. And it is, I mean, you can get a collector edition copy for like half this price. So if you're just looking for a card to have for a fun game in Commander or something, it's a great card to get. It's a lot of fun. 93-94 format, of course. So it's something to look forward to. Not overly expensive yet to pick up. So go in, get yourself a copy. You won't be disappointed. Raging River coming in for the swing. Don't get swept away. Now, okay, Word of Command. Hated this card back in the day. I hated it. Because people would make me cast things they didn't want to cast. And it couldn't be countered, so you couldn't stop them from doing it. So, there's a ring. There's a ring. So, pardon about that. So, with the Word of Command, 2 black casting, you know, after it goes onto the board and you look at the opponent's hand, you know, it can't be countered. It's a fun card. Okay? A lot of us used to use 4 in our decks back then and just totally mess up people's decks. But $350 for Canadian Unlimited, which, by the way, this card was Alpha, Beta, Unlimited only. Never got to revised. $299 in the US, of course, and $158 in the EU. Stable sales. Not super fast. 1 or 2 a week, usually for beat-up copies, okay? So this card itself is not selling on a massive front. It is exchanging hands. It is being sold at a slow rate, but stable, like it's steady. It's not like Shazam, which is like once a month or once every, 4 weeks. No. This is like 1 copy, 2 copies a week moving on some of the major sites. But it's still what I consider slow but stable, okay? So it's a decent card. People do want it, but the price tag is probably holding a lot of people back from purchasing this particular card. All right, the next one up is going to be Vesperian Doppelganger. Now, of course, everyone back in the day used this card in a blue deck, along with Clone and stuff, right? Now, the average price is not bad. For what this card can do for a deck, you got to think $60 in Canada for a revised copy, which, by the way, this card was Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and Revised, so there are multiple editions of it. A lot of people are looking for the revised copies now, I've noticed, because that's where the strongest sales were. $17.50 in the EU, of course, and $45 in the US of A, but the sales are strong. There's 15, 20 copies moving every few days. It's moving very strong. This card is changing hands a lot, especially for the beat-up copies for people, I guess, who just want one for a play set, for a deck, something to have some fun with, okay? The near mint copies are sitting on the market longer, and the slab copies are barely moving at this point, okay? So, great card. If you don't have one, I do recommend picking one of these cards up for your set, at least for a commander deck. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay, and our next card, Alibras Carpet. This is a great card, okay? It's an underrated card, in my opinion, that does not cost a lot of money yet. It's only found in Legends. Alibras Carpet says that, hey, for 5 mana to get this card out, and 5 to use it in tap, all non-flying attack damage is reduced to 0. Think about this. Goblin Krenko decks, all these big bad EDH things, you can put that stuff to 0, which is always a lot of fun. I gotta be honest, it's a lot of fun to have damage go to 0. Put that with a force field and a couple other goodies in there they won't be expecting. Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I enjoy this card. I myself have purchased one. I didn't have one, and I think I only saw it once or twice ever used against me when I was a kid. It was usually not usable against me particular because I had a time walking deck and I'm gonna kill them with like giant fireballs and stuff. So it wasn't used a lot against me, but $75 Canadian, $67 in the EU, of course, and $65 in the US. This is not an overly expensive card to grab at this point. I do recommend grabbing one, and there were slab copies. Now, the foreign copies were moving the fastest, okay? They were like, half the price, or like $30. A lot of people were buying those up. But if you're a commander deck, there's no point like not having one. It's an artifact. It goes in any deck. So it's a lot of fun to have. Even if you don't have space for it now, or this particular deck doesn't need it, maybe you want one for the future to hold on to. It's just as much as like getting a fetch land, right? So it's not a bad deal. Of course, it's 20 years old in the fetch land. It's good stuff to have, and it has stable sales, which is nice. Now, our last card to talk today is going to be Boris Devil Boone. Now, I always found this guy kind of creepy when I was a kid. Look at his face. He looks kind of like he's like a half demon kind of guy. He reminds me of Tybalt in some ways, okay? Now, he was not a great card even when we played him, okay? He's weak on the 2/2, power and toughness. Yeah, you could put some minor token creatures into play, which wasn't bad back in the day. It was kind of hard. 1/1 red, black demon guys into play. It was okay. Now, at $90 Canadian, though, and you can only find this guy in Legends, don't forget. $74 in the US, of course, and $50 in the EU. He's not a horrible price. His sales are strong again, but mostly in the foreign copies. Mostly the Italian version is what I'm seeing sell across a lot of these platforms because it's a lot cheaper to get them that way. And some people just want them to actually play with them in decks. 93, 94, Commander, EDH decks, you know, just for some fun cards to have some kick around decks for. I can see why people might want to pick him up for those particular reasons. So he's not bad. He's just not awesome. Back in the day, I saw him lots of times used in little decks with like ball lightnings and stuff, just as a guy who would hold off with little 1/1 creatures to kind of do blocking and stuff. But I never saw him do major damage to anybody or major play. So, you know, Boris Double Boone, you're all right, buddy, but you're nothing that great. But the sales are strong, so way to go for you. Maybe you're going to see play in some future date because you never know what's going to happen. All right, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in today. This was MTG Moxman. And remember, guys, we are getting closer. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Join in the fun. It's free to do. Helps the small YouTube channel get bigger. All right, guys, looking forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great one today. And we'll be back tomorrow. And the day after that, and the day after that. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this MTG Moxman. Big shout out to all my patrons out there. Thank you so much, guys. We're still hanging above that 100 patron mark. I really appreciate everyone who sticks with me and helps out the channel. You guys are amazing. I will see you all tomorrow. Well, hey guys, welcome back. Glad you're still there as I move my chair around. Guess what? Getting closer, man. 143 till pie. So put the 143, but we're not done. Don't worry. We're going to crack a pack. Why not? Going to open some Strixhaven here. We deserve it. We work hard here, man. People don't realize sometimes. We are getting past the goodies, though. Let's see what we got here. We got to reduce the memory uncommon. 10 to the pests. Then we got to solve the equation of why I'm not at pi yet. Oh, we got the Stadium. I like that card, man. I've been using that. And then we got a counter spell inside of the thing that looks actually pretty awesome. I haven't seen that one before. So we got a counter spell. I think that's pretty good. So, looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot, man. I just feel like cackling.